Sense of this market for everybody. It's not all doom and gloom, and I want to show you why. I'm going to get it done as quickly as possible so I can share this to social media, but please share this with anybody who's wondering what the heck's going on. Is the market crashing? Before 2017, let's have a look at this. We had an average growth rate of, in that 5 to 6, 7%. We had low interest rates of 2.7% prime. People forget that. So let's look what happened back in 2013. 9% increase, which was actually a little high for the time. But if you look the 2 years after that, 2014 and 2015, about 5%. You take these, the average of those, you're looking in around the 6.5%. Now, what happened in 2016? We saw a massive influx of buyers with not a lot of listings, which led to this craziness right here in 2017. But 2016, a 14% increase in average prices. This is across our entire board. It was kind of the same story across all of Southern Ontario. Now, what happened in 2017? We had a massive influx of buyers. We had low interest rates, not a lot of listings, drove those prices forward. The first time in my career I had seen a market where you were expecting to get multiple offers. Now, on the backside of that, you'll see it dropped. Went up about 25%, dropped about 12 to 15%, depending on where you were in Southern Ontario. However, that was due to not interest rates at first. That was due to foreign buyer tax and the stress test, which made it actually brought people's purchasing power down, so prices were reflected there. Now, they did start to increase interest rates effectively in a systematic way over the next 2 years. That kind of curbed the craziness in the market. And if you notice where this line's going, it's pretty much where it should be. Here's the interesting thing. In 2020, obviously what happened, we had COVID for the next 2 years. They dropped interest rates down to the lowest levels we'd ever seen. And what that did is people weren't going anywhere. They had money. They had lowest interest rates ever. Lots of buyer demand, not a lot of supply. So what we saw was after this little spike, which looks very similar to that, we had April, which nothing happened. People realized, oh, nothing's really happening. And it drove those prices up. 80% increase on a non-income producing asset like a home is crazy. So we saw that happen. Then they raised interest rates multiple times in a row. It dropped average prices around 30 some odd percent. And then we've seen this kind of little bit of a downwards trajectory. But here's the interesting thing. Share this to everybody who's worried about the market, okay? If we take this average growth and we remove, on average between 2013 and 2017, about 9%. If we remove these crazy 2 years here, look where we're at. We are exactly where you would expect if you were to gauge that. Now, I'm not saying if you bought here and you're selling now, yes, is it going to be a difficult time for you? Possibly. But there is opportunities for both buyers and sellers depending on your situation. But just to give a blanket statement, say the market's crazy. No, there's some crazy shit that's happened in there. However, we are exactly where we need to be. If you want to talk more about the market and where we're at, give us a call. This hopefully is eye-opening for a lot of people saying, hey, it's not as crazy as you think. You just need to understand the market at a higher level. And we're always here to help. Cheers, everybody.